Released on iOS devices on September 21st, 2012 in Japan, with US and European releases on June the 27th, 2013, and Android releases following in September 2013, we have Layton Brothers Mystery Room. Developed by Level 5 and Matrix Software, the game under the title of Mystery Room was originally going to become a part of Level 5's Ultimania series, which were a series of puzzle games on the Nintendo DS and mobile phones, with the game coming out for the DS. However, in late 2010, Level 5 removed it from their lineup for the Tokyo Game Show and gave the game a spring 2011 release date. When that date passed, it was delayed once more, throwing the future of the game up in the air. The game was finally announced at Level 5's conference in October 2011, where it was announced that the game would not be coming to the Nintendo DS, and to be released on Apple's iOS as Layton Brothers Mystery Room as a spin-off of Level 5's established Professor Layton series, which were a series of puzzle games released on the Nintendo DS and now the Nintendo 3DS. For this review, I'll keep the game as spoiler-free as I can, but you'll see a number of solutions for the first two cases. In this game, set in England, you have two main characters, Detective Constable Lucy Baker, a new recruit who's assigned to solve cases alongside her new partner, Inspector Alfendi Layton, whom Lucy nicknames Prof, which doubles as a reference to Alfendi's father, Herschel Layton, the main character of the Professor Layton games. Together, they solve cases which the police have been unable to crack. The app itself is free for the first two cases, however the remaining 7 cases are available in 2 separate packs if you want the full experience. But, is the game any good? Find out in The Good. Like some of the puzzles in the Professor Layton games, the cases in Layton Brothers require some thinking outside the box to solve. Fairly subtle tells are revealed through witness statements and zooming in on particular areas of a crime scene, to name a couple. In some of the cases, Alfendi will even ask you to try and guess who might have committed murder based on what's at the crime scene already, giving you advice and 5 minutes to investigate. If you happen to pick incorrectly, Alfendi will share his opinion. Nonetheless, once he shares his opinion, or if the two of you are at an agreement, Alfendi will then give a rather accurate percentage on how sure he is of the suspect being the culprit, and it's up to you to investigate and confront the culprit with the proof. Case varieties I've also found very intriguing. Upon purchasing the remaining 7 cases, you'll be confronted with a number of different situations, including the classic locked room puzzle. And to break the monotony of having to solve a murder case all the time, one of them simply requires you to find out how to access a certain room. Some characters in game also have pun-related names, which I think adds to the charm of the game. The game even goes as far, at least in its localization, to handle different English dialects, such as Lucy having a Yorkshire accent, or another character having a Cockney accent. Despite being a spin-off of the Professor Layton series, I feel the characters certainly fit into the universe of the games. However, not everything fits, so let's move on to The Bad. Despite the positive things I just said about some of the characters earlier on, I feel a lot of them are irrelevant or generally pushed off to the side. A good example of this would have to have been the second case, where the main focus is on one suspect, with the other 2 serving as passing mentions, or added simply just to give you a choice of who to suspect. Most of the characters that give Lucy and Alfendi the cases feel more like characters of the day, and some of them serve to only make an appearance at the start to give you the case, and at the end to congratulate you on successfully solving it. Conversations between characters I've found will often appear as red or green, depending on who's talking, and strike the opposing character, which doesn't really seem to do much, and for the most part I thought weren't needed in some places. It's much more understandable when you're trying to prove a character's guilt, but not so much in common conversation. Now this one is only minor, but I found that the game does have a story to it, and I found that it only really makes itself known if you purchase the additional cases. Some hints of it make an appearance as early as case 2, but it really kicks off much later into the game. I think to make things more interesting, perhaps have a case related to the story as part of the free cases to get people intrigued about things and wanting to know more. Then again, if you enjoyed the puzzle solving, you'd probably want to get the extra cases anyway. Aside from that, there isn't much else for the bad, so I think it's time I give The Opinion. Layton Brothers Mystery Room is a fun puzzle game to play on iOS or Android, although I'd recommend Android as iOS has an issue with the music not working in it. The game fits beautifully with the Professor Layton games, and while he doesn't appear in it, he gets mentioned. The cases require some thinking outside the box, and sometimes the outcome isn't as clear as you may initially think. If you like the Professor Layton games or murder mystery puzzles, I'm sure you'll have a blast with it. If you started with this game, be sure to give the Professor Layton games a go, as I'd highly recommend them. So with that, it's time for my rating. Layton Brothers Mystery Room gets a jigsaw puzzle piece out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.